Good morning, good afternoon and evening everyone, and welcome to our 10th Global Accessibility Awareness event, Global Accessibility Awareness Day. I'm Neil Milliken, I'm the Global Head of Accessibility and Digital Inclusion here at Atos, and I'm absolutely thrilled to see such a fantastic turnout as we come together to celebrate GAD 2024. We're exploring the theme of mainstream tech, inclusive impact, advancing what matters. Today's event promises to be insightful and engaging. It features a lineup of distinguished speakers, thought-provoking discussions, and exciting demonstrations. We're honoured to have representatives from industry-leading organisations, including Microsoft, the Special Olympics, and Scribely, who will share their experience and expertise in accessibility and making technology inclusive. But that's not all. We also have some captivating demos showcasing how our employees and partners leverage technology to create accessible solutions that benefit everyone. We encourage you to participate actively throughout the event by asking questions and sharing your insights in the online chat. Because Global Accessibility Awareness Day is not just about raising awareness, it's about driving action and affecting positive change for accessibility. Our agenda features a dynamic mix of activities, starting with a roundtable discussion featuring our esteemed speakers. We'll delve into the topics ranging from the latest innovations in mainstream technology to personal experiences and strategies for fostering inclusivity in the digital space. And now I'd like to hand over to my colleague, Melanie.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I am Mélanie de Vigan. I'm a white woman in her 40s wearing a brown business shirt today. In my role as Head of Strategy and Growth for Digital Workplace, I am delighted to welcome you to today's session on implementing mainstream technology in inclusive ways. In a rapidly evolving digital landscape, technology plays a pivotal role in shaping our lives. While for individuals with disabilities, accessing and utilizing mainstream technology can often present significant challenges, there is also a great potential for using technologies in innovative ways. People with disabilities and their allies are constantly hacking the functionalities of mainstream technology in innovative ways to use them as assistive technology and make them part of their personal inclusion strategy. Today, we aim to inspire you to always stay curious about the possibilities presented by today's technology to empower everyone. If we listen to diverse users, we are constantly finding use cases of technology that have the power to advance what really matters to society. IT that can enable active contribution and participation of everyone. Technology has the power to empower individuals, to break down barriers, to foster inclusivity. By embracing inclusive design principles and incorporating features that cater to diverse needs, we can create digital experiences that are seamless, intuitive, and accessible to everyone. Our engineers and technical experts build strong relationships with a diverse community of end users. This constant dialogue helps us innovate to bridge the accessibility and usability gaps that still exist, ensuring that the digital world and technology become truly inclusive for all. Today, we'll be sharing experiences that illustrate the power of using mainstream technology for inclusion. We will explore various strategies and best practice for implementing technology in inclusive way in our panel discussion and in our demonstration. From website design and mobile application to assistive technology and digital platform, there are countless opportunities to make a positive impact, especially in today's digital workplace. Whether it is leveraging conversational AI in documents and collaboration tools, or taking advantage of machine learning embedded in our hardware to improve the user experience of accessibility in physical, in hybrid, in remote meetings, there is no shortage of innovation happening in this field. We all can drive meaningful change and collaboratively create a more inclusive digital future for everyone. Together, we're going to explore how we can harness the power of mainstream technology to build a more inclusive and equitable world for all. As a personal note, I want to share that I was very impressed by those new apps that can support blind and low vision users by describing the world around them. It uses a smartphone camera to recognize text, people, objects, and it's going to provide auditory description of those items. This is incredible to enhance the independence of those people. To begin, we are going to listen to the dialogue between experts and end users. And after that, we will demonstrate to you concrete use cases from our colleagues and partners implementing technology in inclusive ways. So stay tuned. And now, let me hand over to my colleague, Alexandra Nothnagel, who I know not only via her role as Accessibility and Digital Inclusion Program Manager, but also as one of our digital workplace end-user testers for Microsoft Copilot. Alexandra uses Copilot as an assistive tech for her neurodivergent condition. Alex, thank you for having accepted to moderate this session.
Good morning, afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our roundtable discussion on inclusively implementing mainstream technology. I am Alexandra Nothnagel, Atos Global Program Manager for Accessibility and Digital Inclusion Governance. I am a white woman in her mid-30s wearing a pink suit today to energize the moderation of this session. Today, we are privileged to bring together a diverse group of 4 experts at the forefront of innovation and accessibility. We'll explore how we can leverage mainstream technology to break down barriers and create inclusive environments for all. Let's dive into this important conversation and uncover actionable insights that can drive positive change in our communities. Without further ado, let's introduce our esteemed panelists. Hello, Dave Dame from Microsoft. Please introduce your role and yourself in a few words and give your initial thoughts on linking inclusion to mainstream tech.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dave Dame, the Senior Director of Product Accessibility at Microsoft. I'm a 50-year-old male with brown hair and glasses and wish I looked a lot better than I did. One of my ideas of making technology more inclusive in the mainstream is the opportunity to use generative AI to do all the kind of tasks that are really mid-value but high effort to really reduce the disability tax.
Welcome, Caroline Desrosiers. You are a certified accessibility specialist from Scribely. Can you introduce yourself and Scribely and provide an initial thought on how to link inclusion to mainstream tech?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Caroline Desrosiers, founder and CEO of Scribely. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a white woman in my mid-30s with auburn hair and freckles, and frequently sipping from a bright yellow mug of coffee throughout this talk, quite early out here in California, but happy to be a part of this panel. My company, Scribely, is a media accessibility solutions company on a mission to make images, videos, and audio accessible. And we primarily work with enterprise companies in the e-commerce, education, and media arts industries, providing writing, review, and remediation services, as well as training and consulting. And today I'd like to talk about a project we've been working on with one of our clients, Giphy, to make viral GIFs accessible in real time. Giphy and Scribely piloted the first ever accurate time content with accessibility in the moment alt text for Oscars 2024.
Now welcome to Margaret Turley. You participated as an athlete leader from Ireland to the Special Olympics and are currently a Sergeant Driver Global Messenger. You utilize Health Messenger experience to champion healthy lifestyles, particularly for individuals with intellectual disabilities. You are a role model who works to make the world healthier and include everyone, using the power of sports and speaking up for what's right. Please describe yourself and share your thoughts on inclusion in mainstream tech.
I have a mild intellectual disability, having been diagnosed with PFL from birth. I love staying fit and having a healthy lifestyle. Technology helps people with disabilities to be included in society and allows them to experience things they will not be able to do without.
Now over to my colleague Carrie Chow. You're an Atos accessibility evangelist on our global team with over 25 years of experience in the digital transformation across enterprises globally, from coding to strategizing in leadership roles. Please describe yourself and share a thought on inclusive usage of mainstream technology.
Hello, everyone. Pleased to meet you all. Yes, I'm an Asian woman with long black hair, and I wear spectacles, which is an assistive technology that has gone mainstream. Yes, so as an accessibility evangelist at Atos, I connect people to opportunities in workplace accessibility to foster an environment where everyone can thrive. And I think this is an important factor, which I'll share a little bit more later on. Pleased to meet you all.
Thank you. Now to the next question. How do you envision the role of mainstream technology in fostering inclusivity and accessibility in today's digital landscape? Can you start, Dave, please?
Sure. What we usually like to do when we're designing for people with disabilities is we like to do this practice called inclusive design, where we bring people with disabilities and put them beside product makers so that way they can experience firsthand their struggles with using the technology and mismatch and the opportunity. It helps to ensure we're capturing the right thing, and it really helps build that empathy needed when you're designing inclusive hardware and software alike. One of the things that we're focusing on right now is multimodal input and output. And really, we're treating that as a platform, because if we do that really well to give alternative methods like voice, camera, and haptic, we're really giving a wide range of people the ability to really choose which input and output method is best for them.
Thank you. Now to you, Caroline Desrosiers.
Sure. So when it comes to the Oscars project that we worked on with Giphy, the focus was really on ensuring that hundreds of GIFs had meaningful and useful alt text descriptions when that content actually went live on Giphy in real time. So how the project worked is every GIF published by Giphy that day was made accessible with alt text. And this was a very efficient process, totally achievable for any organization publishing media content. We basically assembled a team of GIF creators and writers. Everyone watched the Oscars from home, and we set up lines of communication so everyone could work collaboratively. From there, Giphy's team cut the GIFs and immediately sent them over to Scribely's writers to describe. And to maximize efficiency, each Scribely writer was assigned different themes. So they were focusing on acceptance speeches or audience reactions to help contextualize the GIFs as quickly as possible. After ingesting the content, we were able to bring timely, relevant GIFs with alt text to users in record time. And this matters because these GIFs went live without needing a fix after the fact. They are accessible and will remain accessible on the Giphy platform from here forward. And in addition to that, every API partner that collaborates with Giphy ingests this alt text and receives those descriptions that Scribely wrote and can pass them through to their platform users. So essentially what this means is we have a sustainable approach here. We have one alt text description traveling to many different locations, produced by the original source provider Giphy, written by people actually watching and experiencing the context of the Oscars in that exact moment. And that description, that accessible description, is preserved. So this is a very efficient and sustainable model where creators and publishers of content can actually make that content accessible from the very beginning, and we can capture that. So stay tuned. I feel like this is a great model for making real-time content accessible, and looking forward to more like this with Giphy.
Thank you. Very exciting, this real-time model. Now over to you, Margaret. Your opinion, how mainstream technology helps fostering inclusivity?
In my opinion, technology is very important so that people can have their own kind of life and they can live their life how they want. And then, we should have the technology that they need accessible for how they need it. Like if you need a wheelchair, if you need something simple, or if you need something a bit more not so simple, it's just important to have everyone. during COVID-19, technology greatly benefited me as I could connect with my friends using Zoom and my personal trainer.
Thank you. Carrie Chow, your 2 cents on how mainstream tech fosters inclusivity.
Yes, I think the beauty of mainstream technology is the increasing agility and the lower cost of entry, where it can continue to help continuous innovation. So in this way, people can customize to the needs more easily and more purposefully, let's say. And with that, I think over the years, you can see how one generation of tech builds on top of the other and continue to bring benefits to the next generation.
Thank you, Carrie. Mentioning innovation, let me go to the next question, which is linked to this. Do you want to talk and discuss innovative approaches or best practices you've observed or implemented when incorporating accessibility features into mainstream technology? Dave?
Yeah, like I mentioned, it's mostly inclusive design, right? We got to look at what are all the different mismatches. And when we say accessibility, it's a broad topic, right? Because there's many different disabilities out there. There's visible disabilities like blind, low vision, hard of hearing, and then there's invisible disabilities as well. So I think it's important as we're designing roadmaps, we look at trying to be equitable and go accessible to who at each time. And as we build mainstream technologies and products, so we try to build it in with the fabric of the product, because if we make accessible features inclusive into the mainstream product, we're really trying to reflect bringing the diverse, inclusive society that we want outside of our product into our products. So it's really understanding the people, designing, building, and validating with them that really helps make sure we build it into mainstream products.
Thank you. Caroline, Rosie, back to you about the innovative approaches of Scribely for implementing accessibility in the mainstream tech.
Yeah, I think when we think about all of the powerful mainstream technologies that we have, we need to ensure that we are keeping humans as part of that process where it counts, right? And definitely seeing that when it comes to crafting alt text descriptions. We can use technology to maybe move us along or help organize our teams or centralize a repository around images. But we can't get too far away from contextually describing these images or having the original creator involved in that process. When it comes to the Oscars project that we worked on, as I mentioned before, those descriptions that were created by people who were actually watching the Oscars were preserved in a system, in a repository. And that is valuable information that we need to hold on to. So when we think about mainstream technologies and sustainability, I like to think about, well, how can we, beyond just generative AI, how can we get our systems in order to actually pass and preserve really good quality descriptions for accessibility purposes?
Thank you. My next question will go to Margaret and Carrie. Can you share a personal experience or observation where mainstream technology has made a significant difference to your life, or the individuals with disabilities that you know? Thank you. Starting with you, Margaret.
So I have my own car. I can drive as an automatically, and I particularly drives itself. I wish all new technology being used in the motor industry. I think it will make driving more accessible to everyone and give people more freedom, so then you can go where you want to go and you don't have to wait for public transport or for lifts.
Yes, thank you. Yes, the car driving example is very important, right? The automatic car reducing the cognitive load and enabling us to securely concentrate on the street. That's a very important one where people may not even have realized that it's linking to accessibility. So now over to your example, Carrie.
Okay, now I'm going to shift to a very, very simple one, which I think many of us these days can relate to. So personally, I think the shift from writing, like handwriting, to typing has been a bliss for me. So basically, my writing is rather untidy, I would say, if at all legible. And I discovered I have very good typing skills, far and way better than writing. So I think that has helped me be very productive, and not just myself. People can understand what I want to convey as well. I mean, if you read what I'm going to write, you're going to struggle with that. But if you read what I type out, you're going to have an enjoyable time.
Yeah, that's very interesting what you mentioned. I remember in school we first learned writing, right? And then there was these typing classes also, very useful. I benefited today from this as well. So now let's get to a question on the role of businesses and organizations. What's their role in promoting adoption of mainstream technology in inclusive ways? Dave, you want to start?
Yeah, so I think as the technology industry, we're being more mindful to really designing and building for accessibility. Where we need to extend it more is how do we market for disability? How do we make sure we're promoting the products in the right path to purchase for those consumers? And I think for a great way for businesses to relate is to really hire for disability. It's not lost on me that, to a lot of my peers that are senior leaders, being in a wheelchair and having cerebral palsy, I'm likely the first person they ever met with a disability that was, from a work standpoint and life standpoint, a lot like them, except I use a wheelchair and I use different technology methods. It's bringing that close to me that creates that empathy. And I think if organizations start hiring for disabilities and growing people with disabilities, because I think even though we're starting to get headway in employing people with disabilities, they got to continue to grow people with disabilities in their career, to have them at all levels of the organization. So that way it's made up of people with disabilities where they can learn and relate. The people that build your products should be the ones that are reflective of using your products. And there's nothing better than making sure you have a diverse kind of organization to be able to build products for your diverse customer base.
Thank you. Yes, that's a good point. Luckily, Atos hired for disability. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here with you in this roundtable today. How to your opinion on the role of business and organizations, Carrie?
Yeah, I would say that businesses and organizations are creators of accessible workplaces. I think everyone in the organization should ask themselves, how their actions can impact the other person, people around us and all. So therefore, I think inclusive workplace, inclusive practices go beyond executive sponsorship and policies. It flows through the entire organization. It is a collective effort, and I think everyone in organization has a role to play in promoting and contributing to make this environment a place where everyone can thrive.
Thank you. Over to you, Margaret, on the role of organization for inclusion of persons with disabilities.
Well, for me, it let me work during COVID-19. I was able to work from home, so I didn't have to just be at home thinking, what will I do? I was still able to continue working from home, talking to my work colleagues, being part of research projects, ensuring they have the technology people need. Workplaces and service providers should have the technology for those with disability so they can do the work and live their lives in whatever way they want to live.
Thank you. Caroline, your opinion on the role of business and organizations?
Yeah, I would like to see organizations feel empowered and hold themselves accountable to publishing inclusive and accessible content from the very beginning. I feel like we need this, we need to achieve and reach for this higher standard that's required for all content that an organization publishes. We have these powerful technology tools that help us move faster and more efficiently than ever, but really it's more how we use them that counts. Using a web authoring tool that does not support accessibility is not an excuse for publishing inaccessible web pages. Assembling a team of engineers who maybe don't understand or incorporate accessibility is not an excuse for building inaccessible products. So we need to set ourselves up for success when it comes to accessibility and hold organizations accountable to this. We use these phrases all the time, like progress over perfection and something is better than nothing. And these seem fine to say in the moment, but they shouldn't be a general rule or even worse, an organizational policy or perspective on accessibility. It's not okay to publish inaccessible content or technologies without a plan for how to budget, because it becomes so hard to go back and fix those problems later. So sustainability, publishing content that is accessible from the very beginning, that is an approach that will really benefit everyone. I love this quote from Neil Milliken. I have to give him a shout out because I think it's so great. If we publish inaccessible content, we're adding pollution to the web that excludes people. So this is something we all need to focus on, really establishing good processes for publishing accessible content.
Yes, treating exclusion like pollution is, I think, a very powerful concept to explain to people what we want to avoid and to get actually away from. So now the time is soon to be over, and that's why I want to invite you all to share your parting thought with our viewers. Let's start with you, Dave.
I would like to encourage everyone to start building. If you don't have people with disabilities in your organization, first off, start hiring, get them in and get, great talent that reflects a diverse audience. But in the meantime, really look at being able to bring people with disabilities in your design and development process. Kind of like what the panelists said right before. There's no real excuse to not build accessibility right in. So make sure you start creating a community you can reach out to get the insights. Nothing about us without us, and really make that a fabric of your product making.
Yes, thank you. Now to you, Caroline, your parting thought.
My parting thought is your content is not complete until it is accessible. If you are publishing content that is inaccessible, you need to fix those problems upstream, and they can be fixed. Accessibility is absolutely a requirement and not a feature. We can do this from the beginning, no questions asked, and as Dave said, no excuses.
Thank you. Over to you, Margaret, to what you want to share with our viewers.
People with disabilities have the right to live their lives the way they want and should have the technology to do this. There could be an app design there, maybe how to do things. So, for example, if you want to do a washing machine and how to use the machine, you could just scan a code on the washing machine and it will tell you how to use it. And then if you scan on the clothing item, there's like a code, it will tell you what kind of wash it would need and what kind of temperature and different things like that. People with disabilities need confidence in their own opinions and engagement with society. The dignity of each person needs to be respected and people's difficult needs to be heard. We all have something unique to contribute to this world.
Yes, thank you. That's true. We have all our unique contribution. Thank you. So, Carrie, your final thought to share.
My thought is that that you don't leave anyone behind. And on this note, I would also encourage people to embrace mainstream technology for inclusion, because in that we can in turn turn innovations in assistive technologies mainstream. So it goes way around as well. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you to all our panelists for sharing their invaluable insights and experiences. Today, we've explored the transformative potential of implementing mainstream technology inclusively for everyone and how we can pave the way for more accessible and equitable future. So let's carry forward on this spirit of collaboration and innovation ignited here today and continue to champion inclusive practices in all our endeavors. Together, we can build a world where technology catalyzes positive change, reaching and empowering every individual, regardless of ability. Dear panelists, thank you again for your contributions and commitment to creating a more inclusive world. And thanks to everyone in the audience for your interest. Alone, we may go fast, and only together, we may go far. Back to Neil Milliken.
We're excited to dive into some exciting demos showcasing the power of implementing mainstream technology in inclusive ways. Whether you're leveraging Copilot or assistive tech, and things such as optical character recognition, also known as OCR, seeing AI, or setting up a hybrid meeting configuration using AI for accessibility, or designing user interfaces with accessibility in mind. There's absolutely no shortage of innovation in the field of accessibility. Here, we're going to give you some real examples from our partners, employees, and customers of initiatives that are leading the way in highlighting the transformative potential of inclusive technology solutions. Our demos today highlight innovative solutions designed to enhance accessibility and empower individuals of all abilities, whether that be cutting-edge assistive technologies to user-friendly digital interfaces. The following demos represent the forefront of inclusivity.
Hello, I'm Dave from Microsoft. Please watch this video where I demonstrate how I use Copilot or generative AI to be more productive as a professional with a disability. Today I want to share with you a video of how the power of Copilot can really assist those with disabilities. Now, I'm not talking about accessibility features within M365 Copilot. I'm simply talking the benefit to somebody with a disability. Full disclosure, I'm a Microsoft employee, but today I'm talking to you as a person with a disability that has struggled doing communications and emails and PowerPoints throughout my 25, 30-year career, and showing how now we can be at a better place in the world to have technology assist us for those things that other people get to take for granted. So usually I 1 or 2 finger type my emails, which takes about 8 or 9 minutes depending on the length. Even if I dictate it, it's a lot less effort with my hands, but it still takes a amount of time. By the time you edit it to written verse and clean it up when it doesn't interpret you properly. So simply, I'm just going to show you from keystrokes how this benefits. So I'm going to give a generic example. I typed in a command here. It says, draft an email to my colleague Andrew to discuss the benefits of agile delivery for his team based on my many years of experience. So I'll hit generate. And if you notice, it's generating the message. And it said, based on my many years of experience, I believe that agile delivery benefits provide many benefits for your team. Agile delivery allows for faster and more frequent releases, which can help improve customer satisfaction and increase revenue. It also encourages collaboration and communication among team members, leading to be more efficient and productive work. So I won't continue reading, but you see, just by me reading it, it took longer than it took to generate it. Now, if I didn't like this, I could either easily regenerate it to see what else it would come up with. So now I'm getting my choice of what I want to say instead of taking the first one. Okay, this sounds really professional. I can say, make this sound a little more casual, but I want a little more detail. Since Andrew is a friend, I don't want him to think I'm asking him for money for being so formal. So I'll say, make this more casual, and more detailed. Let's see what it comes up with. So great, we got way more detail, and look at this. I love this. If I would have typed this or dictated, it would have took me a lot longer to do. What I can also ask it to do is check my calendar, and then it will show my time for availability if I wanted. But you seen in this very simple email, in 3 minutes, I was able to look at 2 or 3 drafts to get the right tone. So I go from having to either type or author the full email or dictate it to simply just commanding to get it the best. A lot more efficient, a lot more relaxed, and I can get a lot more done within 3 minutes. Thank you for watching the video. I look forward to hearing about stories about how you're using generative AI to make your life better.
I'm Neil Milliken, and I'm going to show you how we can use settings inside Windows 11 and Office to change color contrast, to make it easier to read and also easier on your eyes and reduce eye strain, and also support my reading because I have color sensitivity as part of my dyslexia. So built into Windows 11 are contrast themes, and they enable you to change the way that your display looks. So if you go to settings and then choose accessibility, and then you can go to contrast themes. Now there are color blindness filters and grayscale and inverted for other conditions, but in my particular case I'm using contrast themes, so let's go there. The nice folks at Microsoft have already created some themes, and some of them are quite nice, but they're not really quite what I need. And what I really need is something that gives me sufficient contrast, but not too much, because actually I struggle with glare, and that causes me eye strain and also causes words to shimmer, which makes reading harder. So whilst you can apply a theme such as desert, and I'm going to choose that from the drop-down list, I can apply that now, and you should be able to see now that it's off-white, it's reduced some of the glare, but there's still a lot of white space, and it's reduced some of the things that I would want. So I actually created my own. I played around with this quite a bit, because you can see I have 6 custom themes here. So if we apply my custom theme, as you can see now, it's a lot darker, but it's not got the same level of glare as you would have with a high contrast theme for people who would have a visual impairment, for example. So this is really good for when I'm on long calls. I use it a lot when I'm using things like Teams. Doesn't always work, but you can actually go in and edit. So you can customize all of this stuff yourself. So you can set your inactive text colors, your selected text colors, background colors, etc. Some to give it so whatever it is that you require that meets your needs. And lots of people have different sensitivities to color. Now, if I show you what this looks like, not just in the menus of Windows, but in the various different apps that I use. So for example, we go to Teams and Viva Engage. You can see this works quite well. You can see all of the links, but you're not getting lots and lots of light coming off your screen. And if you're like me and you're working long hours, that can be really important. I sometimes use it for proofing documents as well. It works quite well on simple documents. If we go to a Word document, you can see a Word document here. and that works quite well. However, when people start embedding tables and images where they've got no background color, quite often those images then are inaccessible. So I have to revert back to using other methods to reduce glare. So if I go back to settings, I'm going to go back to no theme. When it comes to working in Office, unfortunately, some of the custom colors in the overriding Windows themes don't work so well because I use color to represent meaning. So, for example, I color code my diary so I know what kind of meeting I'm having. So, categorization, really useful for me. I have lots and lots of meetings. Therefore, I want to know what kind of thing I'm doing. I can see at a glance and get my head into the right mindset to be able to take the meeting. Particularly when I'm traveling, I need to know these things. Also, we need to be able to see and clearly have visibility of documents. That's not always possible. So if you want to go to options, you can here have various different color themes, and I use the gray one. The dark gray theme, not the most exciting, but it enables me to have the level of visibility and reduce glare, but still use colors. So that's a quick introduction to the various different things that I use on a daily basis that make it easier for me to see, easier for me to read, and much, much lighter on my eyes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joe LaFosse. I am a member of the Atos Global Accessibility Team in North America. Today, I will give a short presentation to show you how AI is being used to improve accessibility, in particular, to aid people with visual impairments. We will look at a new technology, the PictureSmart AI feature in the JAWS screen reader. Machine learning or artificial intelligence is not a perfect science. If you utilize it to obtain any crucial information, it is essential to seek human assistance in order to verify the results. Nevertheless, it can provide very rich and useful information when the models are correct. Let's look at a couple of images using PictureSmart AI. Note that when you submit an image, if you perform the process multiple times, you will obtain slightly different results each time, much like showing a picture to different people. The PictureSmart facility generates results from 2 services, thus providing 2 styles of AI technology for each image. We will be using 2 very different kinds of images to see how AI handles them. Our first image will be a bar graph. The second one shows the cover of the owner's manual for a radio receiver. Let's begin the demo to see how AI describes them. For both images, AI gave fairly detailed descriptions. Each service provided its unique presentation. You probably also noticed some discrepancies in the information. These examples illustrate the potential of this emerging technology. It will become more robust and helpful as it matures. Thank you. Okay, let's get to the first image.
New recording dash camera and one more page dash work dash 803 stream vertical bar Microsoft GAAD2 new recording 8 stream GAAD20 GAAD bar graph candy.web 3
Okay, let's bring this image up now so we can show it to you.
enter opening new tab loading page loading complete bar graph candy.web left paren 620 times 552 right bar graph candy.
Okay, here's the image. Now we will use AI to describe it.
Space.
P. Picture Smart. Picture Smart is in progress, which indicates that the graph is likely.
Okay, let's go to the top and read it.
Heading Level 2 Gemini. Heading Level 2 Gemini. The image is a bar graph that shows the number of students who prefer each candy flavor. The flavors are green apple, caramel, butterscotch, and banana. The number of students who prefer green apple is 4. The number of students who prefer caramel is 10. The number of students who prefer butterscotch is 8. The number of students who prefer banana is 8. Heading Level 2 Chat GPT. The image displays a bar graph titled quote favorite candy. Quote the vertical axis on the left side measures the quote number of students, quote with the numbers ranging from 0 to 14 at intervals of 2. The horizontal axis at the bottom lists various quote candy flavors, quote including green apple, caramel, butterscotch, and banana. There are 4 bars of different colors representing the number of students who prefer each candy flavor. The green apple bar is green and is the highest, suggesting the majority of students prefer this flavor, though the exact number cannot be determined from the image provided. The caramel bar is orange and is approximately half the height of the green apple bar. The butterscotch bar is blue and slightly shorter than the caramel bar. The banana bar is yellow and the shortest among all bars, representing the fewest students preferring this flavor. The graph is set against a light blue backdrop with a playful design, resembling a sheet of notebook paper. The top right corner of the image shows a browser interface indicating that this is a screenshot taken from an online application. There are buttons for screen sharing options like quote stop sharing quote and quote hide, quote which indicates that the graph is likely part of a presentation or a web meeting. Meeting.
Okay, so there was the description used, generated by AI, and we will now close that.
Escape. Bar graph candy.web left paren 620.
And we'll close this image.
Closing tab. Close. New recording dash camera dash desktop content. GAAD2024. Bar graph candy.web DX390.
Now we'll move on and do the second image.
Enter. Photos. To move to an item, press the arrow key. Full screen but zoom to actual size. Full screen button. To activate, press spacebar. Enter. Previous button. To activate.
There's the image. You can see that. Now we'll go ahead and use AI to describe this one.
Space. P. Picture Smart. Picture Smart is in progress. Likely meant. Heading Level 2 Gemini.
Okay, now we'll go to the top and we'll let it read it.
Heading Level 2 Gemini. Heading Level 2 Gemini. The image is a black and white photo of a manual for a DX-390 AM/FM World Band portable radio. The manual is written in English and has a picture of the radio on the cover. Heading Level 2 Chat GPT. The image shows an owner's manual for a Radio Shack device. The manual is titled quote Owner's Manual AM/FM/World-Band Portable Radio quote and is specifically for model DX-390. The front page of the manual has an illustration of the radio, which is depicted with various buttons and controls, along with a speaker on the left side and an LCD panel above the buttons. The design suggests the radio is capable of receiving a range of signals, including AM, FM, and World-Band frequencies. The manual is standing upright, slightly tilted, against a plain, light background on what appears to be a flat surface. The branding quote Radio Shack quote is prominently displayed at the bottom of the manual. The catalog number 20-214 is also noted at the bottom of the page, indicating the specific product or inventory reference for the company. The overall composition of the image is simple, primarily focused on the owner's manual, with no other objects except for what seems to be the edge of another item in the very bottom left corner, which is mostly cropped out and indistinguishable. The photo setting looks like a typical indoor environment, likely meant for displaying or cataloging the manual. There's nothing else in the image that distracts from the main object, which is the manual. Manual.
All right, so there's the description. Now we will close that.
Escape. DX390 manual cover.jpg 3 of 8. GAAD2024. DX390 manual cover.jpg-photos.
And we'll close the image.
Alt F4 button. To activate, press spacebar.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today for this remarkable celebration of Global Accessibility Awareness Day. It's been an inspiring and enlightening journey, filled with insightful discussions, impactful presentations, and powerful demonstrations. As we conclude our event, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speakers, partners, and participants for their valuable contributions. Together, we've explored the importance of implementing mainstream technology in ways that are inclusive and its impact on accessibility and inclusivity. Let's continue to advocate for accessibility, championing inclusive design and driving positive change in our respective spheres of influence. Let's remember, accessibility is not just a checkbox. It's a mindset, a commitment to ensuring that everyone, regardless of ability, can fully participate in our digital world.